Hello plant community, thanks for tuning into this channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Pam, and for those of you that keep turning to my planty ventures on a weekly basis, thank you so much for coming back. And welcome to everybody. This is my second or maybe third repot and chat. And this one is a little different from my other videos because I kind of gave you guys an opportunity to ask me some questions. And so yeah, we're just going to take it from there. As you can see, I have a lot of plants, so we're just going to kind of just jump right into it. I don't want the video to be too long, but if it winds up being long, thank you so much in advance for hanging out there with me. So I actually put a Q&A post on the community post, and I didn't really get a lot of responses back, you guys, and I think it's because people probably don't look that much at the community post. I'm not sure. So I do have a couple of questions that you guys did respond, and I'll talk about that, and then we can probably move on and talk about other things as I pop these babies up. If you have any questions and you wouldn't mind me doing another like future Q&A, just put the questions down below, and I'll try my best to like form and video for you guys. So yeah, so let me just get right into it. As you can see, I have a lot of plants. What I plan on doing, you guys, is because my collection has grown tremendously, I did do some propagations in the past, and so I noticed that I have some duplicate plants, or maybe plants that I might not be so much in love with, and instead of like trashing up, especially the ones that I don't love as much as I used to, instead of trashing them because they're not working in my environment, it's best to gift to a friend, and maybe it'll thrive in their home. So that's what I'm kind of doing, and I want to show you guys something as well. These little decorative way that I've been decorating these little planters, and I actually got the idea from another YouTuber. I think her channel is Plant Haven. I hope I'm saying it right, I'm not sure. But if you guys watch her, you probably know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to show some photos, you guys, somewhere here where I have been decorating some pots, or purposely repurposing some like candle holders and things like that. So I am into the thrifting or crafting, so to speak. And I wanted to decorate these pots because, like I said, I'm giving these plants to friends, and I just think this would be a very inexpensive way to actually decorate pots for gifts. So yeah, so let's just jump right into it. And like I said, I have a couple of questions. And let's see. Diane Taylor, she said that she know that I touched on this subject in a past video, but they like to hear more about my preferences and experiences with different moss types of stakes, poles, etc. Also my favorite plant accessories such as lights, watering apparatuses, or anything else that I like. So Diane, that's a very good group of questions to actually start this video off with. So I hopefully I'll be able to give you the answers that you're looking for. So let me touch a little bit. Let me talk about the lights. Now, also too, before I get into the answering the questions, I'm not really changing the soil out because since I've decorated a lot of pots, I'm more or less just transferring the soil that I have, because there's nothing wrong with the soil. It's still pretty fresh, so it's still packed full of nutrients. I do have just some extra soil here just in case I want to need to fill in or anything like that. But let's get back to your question, Diane. I want to start off first with the light portion. Personally, you guys, you know me, I'm about trying to save money or maximize the dollars that you are spending. So I find that your basic LED lights do work in your home. So the ones that you buy to actually put in your lamps, they're not as expensive, and they still do the trick. At least I found they do the trick. And your plants will, it's been my experience, your plants won't die. They'll still grow and they'll thrive. They may not grow as vigorously. So You can do that for a very inexpensive way and still provide your plants with the things that they need. The light that I do use, like in my sunroom and also here, I'm in my dining room right now behind me, but I have them off because of the backlight, but it's my Sansi light. Now when I first brought them, honestly you guys, it was like, I thought it was a game changer. I did notice, honestly, I honestly can say I did notice more growth. Now the Sansi lights, they are of course a little bit more expensive than the I guess your regular LED lights, but you do actually provide them with the needs that the requirements that the plants need. And I noticed that after sitting like a plant that's maybe struggling a little bit, or if I'm propagating a plant, or just trying to nurse a plant back to health, I do put it underneath the Sansi light, and I notice a big change. So, and they're running about say at least 30 bucks, I would say, per light. But there's some that's cheaper too, like in the $20 range. I still think that they are affordable, a little bit more affordable than I guess the other grow lights that's out there. Like, I'm not trying to light shame anything. It's just that, like I said, I have this beautiful plant collection and a beautiful hobby, but it can become pricey. So you need to look for ways to actually save whenever you can. This right here, you guys, is actually let's see, I'm putting this, I don't know, is my Shivriana. I actually not too long ago just brought this, and it did acclimate to my home and started dropping a little bit of leaves. But the reason why I'm actually gifting this to a friend that I think really would appreciate this, the reason why is because I brought a bigger specimen, so it's no need for me to have two. And so yes, I just put it in this soil. But yeah, I recommend, for me, what's worked for me has been just the Sansi grow lights. Now you also made a mention about, let's talk about my moss poles and stakes. Now, what I'm finding out is you really get stakes to support your plant if they start really trailing up. And then you go from maybe just the stakes, and then you use the moss poles, because the moss pole is, I guess, more or less trying to get a bigger plant, leaves, growth, things like that. So I do have cocoa coir poles. Not really too much of a fan for them. They're a little bit more challenging with trying to keep them wet. So I really haven't been using it to moist the pole so much. Okay, look at this, you guys. The root. Well, the roots is kind of like stuck in the bottom of the pot here. Oh man, so I'm gonna try my best to see if I can, I don't know if I'll be able to wiggle it out without damaging the root, or maybe pull it out. But anyway, so I still use the cocoa coir ones. I brought them, so I might as well use them. But I'm using them more or less for the idea of just staking up my plant. I'm not really using it with anticipating like bigger growth in the leaves, because it just takes too much time and effort trying to keep the poles wet. And I do have to spray them or whatever the case is. And it's just a little bit too time consuming for me, considering I have other things that I would like to get done. But I have been actually into doing the clear, the clear moss poles. I think that those for me has become a game changer. An example of that, actually I got one right here. And of course you guys seen this plant numerous of times because I bragged about it, this Syngonium Cardi Road. But you see right here, this are like clear plastic moss poles that you just snap together, and you put the moss in. I think for me, and what I need to do, it's been a game changer for me. And all of these items, or anything that I mentioned, I did, like it's the Sansi light, I was able to get off of Amazon. This as well, so all you have to do is probably type in the search engine like clear moss poles, and you'll see a variety of them. This one is like the stackable kind, and what I really like about it, of course, you can put your moss in there, but the fact that you're able to put an apparatus on top, like right here I have like a little cup. Let me put this back. So I have like a little cup on top where I'm able to just pour the water in the cup, and that way it helps keep the moss wet. And I found, dang, I just broke the root, y'all. It's okay. And I found that, wait a minute. I found that doing that has been a little bit more convenient for me in regards to just maintaining the moisture in the moss pole. Dang it. And sometimes when you repot stuff, you guys, you kind of do chance breaking some roots. But as you can see right here, it's very healthy, so you know, no harm. The roots are very long, basically. It's no issue with that. But yeah, so I haven't really been using the moss poles that much to like really feel confident with the information I'm giving you or answering your question, Diane, in regards to that. I can say for me, the clear moss poles has just been a game changer. It's been more convenient for me. Now I do use the wooden stakes, which I also find very beneficial. But sometimes, you know, if you give your plants just something to climb onto, once they, like I had a Monstera Adansonii that was actually on just, what is it, a wood stake, and over time the roots itself started attaching itself to it. So, you know, if plants want to climb, I'm not going to use this, pot's too small. When plants want to climb, they will you know, adapt to the environment, and they will attach themselves on there. That's what I've noticed with at least my Monstera Adansonii. That's what it did when it was climbing up. It attached itself on the pole, and it seemed to be doing fine, and it was actually thriving and starting to give me big leaves. So I think once you start seeing that the roots on your plants is starting to reestablish itself on the pole, that's when you're actually going to see that game changer of like just the plants really taking off, in my personal opinion. Now, as far as watering apparatuses, I have just, well, actually I use, since I use tap water on all my plants, but I do put, I have gallon jugs from, you know, old milk containers and things or whatever that I reuse to store my water. And I have about, I'd say about 4 of them to accommodate my watering needs for all my plants. And I usually do sit it out 24 hours at least before I start using them. I don't think in my city that our water is that harsh, so it's not really, I don't think it's really damaging my plants, especially some of my calatheas that I have, which is a good thing. I think I'm in a good space as long as I let it sit out. So sometimes I'll just water my plants straight from the jug, or let me see, I have it actually sitting here on this table. I just buy this right here. See this, you guys? It's just really cheap. Actually, I got this from the dollar store. It holds a lot of water. Actually, that one holds like a half a gallon of water. So it does very well in regards to that for me. This is my sterling silver Scindapsus, and I have the mother plant of this in my bedroom, if you've seen my houseplant tour. And it's growing, and it may not be growing, I can honestly say I don't think it's growing as fast as what I would consider my other Scindapsus, but this has grown significantly. I don't know if I should leave it like this or put it up on like a little trellis, but I think it looks, I'm gonna leave it alone. Sometimes I overthink stuff. I think it looks fine just the way it is. And let me just sit, I'm actually gonna, because I want to make sure I got have room here, so I'm gonna pot up the ones and just kind of like sit them down. That's my sterling silver Scindapsus. Let me move this over as well. So anyway, let me go back, make sure. Poles, accessories. Okay, so yeah, we've touched a little bit on the lights, we've touched a bit on the moss poles, and you guys, like I said, I'm not really fancy with watering. Now I'm gonna show y'all something though. Let's see. Oh man. This right here, you guys, was what I got in the beginning of my plant journey. Of course, you know, you get those first 5 plants and be like, oh, this is so cute and dainty. And then after 20, 30, 40, 50, and then over 100, you know, reality sets and you be like, okay, this little pot, even though it's very stylish, it doesn't really fit the need. It's good if you have a very small plant collection, but I mean, I still use it, don't get me wrong, but and that's if I want to do like a little spot check around my home or in the sunroom to see what plants may need just a little bit of water. So I usually use this. And let's see, anything else for that one? So let me go back to the light part, you guys. This is my Hoya macrophylla. This is actually a propagation that I actually propagated a year ago, maybe almost 2 years ago, and it only had just these 3 leaves, and this year it just started finally taking off, and it's been giving me all these beautiful new growth points right here and here. So I really think that a friend of mine is really going to love this. Like I said, my mother plant that I have in my sunroom is growing very vigorously now. So, and like I said, I don't need it. When you start getting a large collection, you really are forced to like survey your area to see, okay, what plants do I really want in my collection? Which plants do I need in my collection? It makes you hone down on it a little bit. Now you want to keep in mind, this fell off. You want to keep in mind that Hoya root system, even though the plants are beautiful, Hoya root systems are dainty. And they like being in tight surroundings. So I'm not going to I'm going to put it in a small pot. Yeah, and it fits just perfectly. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the lights. And I hope I don't lose my train of thought as far as what I was going to say about the light. The lights, what are they? I may have to come back to that, you guys, because as I started talking, I kind of like lost my train of thought. If it comes back to me, you guys, I'll bring it back up and then we can talk about the lights. Now, what I want to do with this, you guys, is actually, I love doing makeshift trellises, y'all guys. You already know. And I'll show you something real quick. I just use these are little floral wires that you can easily just acquire from the dollar store as well as in the little flower shop area, and I just shape them to my desired way. Especially when your plant is very tiny like this, you can just do that. But if your plant starts getting more mature and more robust, you can still use this to form the top shape. But then I usually attach these to like bamboo sticks to secure it when I put it in the soil. But for me, when the plants are juvenile like this or starting out, I just stick this right in the soil itself, and it tends to be sturdy enough to hold up the plant. And so that's what I'm pretty much going to do here with this one. Let me just go. I have, let's see, Emma LaCroix. She said, I'd like to know about your plant journey, how you got started with plants, the first plants you got, the plant you've had the longest, etc. Now, Emma, you asked a lot of questions there as well. And believe it or not, if you've been watching any of my past videos, I believe I have touched on almost all of the subjects you just made a mention of. But I'll try to do a little quick recap for you. So basically, I've always been fascinated with plants, and I've had a love for foliage for really as long as I actually remember having a memory. But unfortunately, you know, I didn't grow up around like plants like my parents or anything. Did not grow any house plants. And I've always was interested in trying to like grow house plants. But when I started on my very first journey, I did not know what I was doing at all, you know. And I would ask people, you know, what do you do to get your plants to thrive? And I used to get the same answers all the time, no matter who I asked. And I always be like the elder people in my neighborhood, or just maybe my grandmother, or well, not my grandmother, you know, your grandmother figures and you would ask, what do you do? And they would answer and tell me, I just water them. You know, I just water them. Just think about that, you guys. That's a very general statement, isn't it? I mean, considering now we know that it requires a little bit more than just watering the plants. But when I'm young and I'm not knowing, I literally took that comment and ran with it. And boy, oh boy, did I kill a lot of plants with that theory. And so, I thought that I didn't have a green thumb, and I had a lot going on when I was trying to start my plant journey the first time, and I just didn't have the time, I think at the time, to do my own research and things of that nature. You got to keep in mind, not telling on my age or anything, but I did grow up in an era before the internet, so that would require me to get a lot of books and things, and just trying to read up on stuff, and I just really did not have the time to dedicate that. And so I just chucked it up as a loss, I not have a green thumb, I don't know. And what really sparked the interest back up is actually the beginning. It's like a curse and a blessing within a curse, if to say the least. My brother had passed in 2018, and a group of friends and co-workers got together and got me this beautiful flower bouquet that had plants in it, variety, like snake plants. It had, I believe, a prayer plant was in there, and a couple of other, maybe peace lily, I'm not sure, but a couple of other little plants. And I was like, I just took it as an opportunity for me to see what I could do with those plants, and I separated the plants, and that was the beginning of my journey, really separating the plants and just putting them in pots, and I had no knowledge of any of this stuff, you guys. I was just putting them in random pots that I could find, not even taking into consideration soil versus the root size versus the pot size, all of that, and all my plants that came in that died, with the exception of the red the red Maranta that I've been showing you guys. I believe if you've been following me from the beginning of my journey, you will definitely see where I was talking about my red Maranta and why that plant is one of the most important plants to me in my collection. That, along with the red Maranta and I think the heart-shaped philodendron, was my first actual plants that came into that pot, and I was able to grow it out, and I actually still have it growing and thriving with me. Actually, the heart, isn't this cute, you guys? Let me show you real quick. So, I'm not going to use this, it's a little too, I'll just use one. These little clamps, I got these off of Amazon too. They're very inexpensive. So I have butterfly, this is, I guess, a wasp. And then the cutest thing right here, the little ladybugs. I just use it as decorative pieces to clamp on here. I think it just adds an extra elegance to the plant. But I think my friend will like it. They'll appreciate it. So that's pretty cool. So yeah. So I think the heartleaf philodendron, which was one of my original plants and my oldest plant, I have actually on a trellis on the wall in my bedroom. If you watch that video where I've actually tried to merge a heartleaf philodendron with my lemon lime pothos, the goal is to have both of those colors mesh in together. Now my heartleaf philodendron has been growing very vigorously, but my pothos, even though when I got it, it was a great deal. It was very full. It still is very full, but it has been a slow grower. It's just starting to take off a little bit where I'm able to actually put it on the trellis. So I'll be really excited to see it finally come across the wall. Let me see. I'm not sure if I answered your question. So the first plants was like I said, the red Maranta. I had the heart-shaped philodendron, of course. Let's see, a peace lily. Now my first peace lily, you guys, did not know what I was doing at all. Killed that thing in a matter of months, boy. And And it really is true about what they say, that the number one cause of you killing your plants is overwatering them. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was loving them too much. I was loving up on them. I was going off of my theory of what the elders in my community was telling me about the just water, but not, I had no concept of watering and being mindful of the light requirement. I had no idea as far as being having the plant size in mind. Oh my gosh, I wish I took a picture of it. Y'all probably would have been laughing at me. I had like, it was like a little baby snake plant. And I'm going back in memory and time. It just seemed like, what the heck was I thinking? But I had it was like a little baby snake plant. It was not that tall, that big. I put it in a plant pot that I only had available. Instead of me just going out and trying to buy a smaller planter, I put this little baby snake plant in this big, like 6-inch pot sitting there, and I just kept going with it though. I kept going with it and just watering. Even though I wasn't watering as much, you gotta keep in mind that little baby plant inside the 6-inch planter with all that wet soil, that thing rotted out. It was just a disaster, you know. And I was like, oh no, I just don't know what I'm doing. And I don't know, I just started getting a little bit even more into plants when we had the shutdown going on, because now everybody's locked down. Didn't have very much to do, and I was already, you know, one of my hobbies, y'all know that I like to crochet, but I was like already had like pretty much crocheted everything known to mankind that I could think of just to keep my mind active, you know what I mean? And so yeah, it kind of like just picked up and went from there. And you know, my mother was God bless her soul. She must be watching me right now. But not my mother, my daughter. She was telling me, Mom, you're so good at this. Why don't you just, you know, just start a channel or whatever? And then when she was telling me, I was like, nah. I was like, I don't know about that. You know, and then, you know, I was worried about, you know, what if don't nobody ever see me and this, that, and the third. And, you know, when I decided to start the channel, you know, I had to do it not to, you know, I try not to, you know, worry myself about, you know, how many people want to watch it or how many people want to like it. I try not to get caught up into that. I said, you know what, this is something that I want to do. You know, whenever you go out and you do something in your life, you guys, you got to make sure you do it for yourself and nothing else, because that's the only way it's going to work, right? So, you know, when I started, I said I wasn't going to worry about any of that. You know, if it's for me, it'll be for me, you know, and if it works out, it works out. But if it doesn't, that's okay too, because I said, you know what, at least I took a leap of faith and I stepped outside my comfort zone, and I said, okay, I am trying something a little different, and I've been having a blast doing it. I'm so glad I listened to her, and, you know, just like I said, like, be having conversations with you guys, and you know, I live vicariously through y'all, because when y'all find y'all plants and y'all be excited, you know, I'm excited for you, you know. This right here, you guys, okay, this is my watermelon peperomia, and I don't know, when I first got this plant, the leaves were so big and huge, and I mean, I've done all I can with this plant, and I love it so. It's a shame, but now it's just gotten down to this. Now, these baby leaves was not on here, so the leaves have grown, but I've just been so up and down with this plant. I just think that it's now time for me to just go ahead and gift it to someone else, and maybe it'll thrive in their home. And I realized that because, what's that plant? The Philodendron brantianum. You guys, that was one of the plants at the time heavily on my wish list. I really wanted to get that plant, and I got it, and I was so happy. But I didn't realize how, I don't know, it was not thriving at all in my home, no matter what I did. I don't know what, I really don't. I don't know what in the world I was doing wrong. But I knew that my plant was dying, and it was declining real fast, you guys. I'm not even joking about that. It was really declining, and I took cuttings of it in hopes of trying to save it, and I don't know. The cuttings that I had, thank goodness I gifted it to a friend. And she actually showed me a picture of her plant not too long ago, and it's thriving. It wasn't a big cutting of it, very small cutting, but her plant is doing wonderful. And I told her, I said, wow, it's amazing. I said, because the mother plant for me, it died. So like, I'm glad that I did that, because okay, even though it didn't survive or do well under my conditions, it's doing well under someone else's, and that's what it's all about. So I'm trying to hopefully do the same thing with this plant, because it is a beautiful plant. It's just not, I love it, but it doesn't love me back. And I try to keep the soil moist. I've read some things where they were saying, okay, you might need to possibly let it dry out. I really don't know what to do with it, and I have it sitting, had it sitting in my window in my kitchen on the counter. So it's getting, I know it's definitely not a light situation. It's getting enough light. I really just don't know what it is. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to get me a little, later, I'll do it later because I don't have one handy. I'll get me a little stick just to keep this upright so it won't flop over. And that way when I transport it, give it as a gift, hopefully I can secure it. But yeah, I'm hoping that the person I give this to, maybe it'll thrive in their environment. But it's weird because I guess certain peperomias just don't do well. Like I have a what's that? The raindrop peperomia. It's growing up, but I've lost a lot of leaves at the bottom, and I still have the top part. I'm actually thinking about chopping that thing all the way down, because I want to bring it back down and actually stick it in the soil. So yeah, not too bad, right? Yeah, like I said, because it's wobbly a little bit, I think I'm going to put it on a little stake just to give it a little bit of support, and voila. Okay, so that's plant number 4. I got a good little ways to go. Let me see. So Emma, I hope I answered your question as far as my journey. I kind of like explained what sparked it. Let's see, the first plants that I got. The first plants that I got, like I said, the Maranta is one of the ones that I have had the longest. My philodendron Brazil that's hanging in the sunroom, that's growing so nicely up against the wall, is one that I've had the longest. My original peace lily, the regular peace lily that I have in my bedroom, that's another one of my plants that I've had the longest. My ZZ plants, a couple of snake plants. The plants that's like, forget about it, has been more or less the longest plants that I had in my collection that I can think of off the top of my head. So I hope I'm not forgetting anything. But, you know, stick with me and keep watching my channel. I'm quite sure I'll let you know as we go along. So let me, so I think I actually had just one more person ask me a question. But before I get to that, I wanted to show y'all, and it was talking about Marantas. This was a cutting that I took from my plant that I'm gifting to a friend because they like prayer plants. And I don't know, see that, the root system. Marantas, they propagate very easily, you guys. They really do. They really, 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 really do. And so does spider plants. I was so mad, you guys. Look at that. That looks like a very healthy root system. I had a whole bunch of these that I had like I told y'all before, all propagations are not successful. I don't know why, but I had a whole bunch of these actually in the water, and I don't know if the water made it like rot. The roots kind of like rot. It was, or maybe I don't know if I had it in water too long or too much water. I'm not sure, but anyway, they rotted, and these was the ones these was the ones that was actually left, which is a bummer, but it's okay because this will make a nice little plant for somebody. I'm quite sure they will definitely appreciate it. And I'm also putting them in a decorative pot too for another reason. Hopefully everybody I give it to, they won't feel the need to have to repot them, because I've actually gifted a friend of mine's spider plant, and I just put it in a basic regular planter, and they had wound up repotting it, and against my instructions, I told them don't repot it, and they did it anyway, and the daggone plant died. So I'll still give the same instructions again, but I'm hoping that showing it or gifting it to them in these beautiful made planters will encourage them to leave it alone and leave it in the pot. I don't know. But, you know, plant journeys, you guys, is about what, trial and error. At least it is for me. And I've been definitely learning a few things. I've learned a lot of things, really. Like I said, I can't go on. I've definitely learned light, about more in depth about light, how important light is, and what types of light and what is meant by the light as far as bright, medium, indirect, direct light. So I've come a long way in regards to that. I've come a long way in regards to also just watering the plants and actually investigating your plants and getting familiar with your plants. You know, not just watering them because it's the thing to do. You know, let your plants talk to you, and you can pretty much figure out, after hanging out with your plant babies for a while, exactly some of the things that they need. Not all your plants, you know, you're gonna have a few wild childs there, but for the most part, yeah. Okay, so this is pretty cool, pretty cute. Yeah, I like it. I wish I had another one that's full. You know what, I might just take a chance, and because I have my mother plant in my sunroom, it's got like a lot of them just overgrowing, and they do already kind of like have a little bit of roots. I might just take a chance and just put another little one right here just to make it a little fuller. But whoever gets this plant, I'll just let them know exactly that's what I did, so they won't be, you know, too surprised if it did make a successful turn. I don't know. But anyway, okay, so let's get to the last question, you guys. Kathy Quinn, she wanted to know, what has been your best propagation success story? Best propagation success story. It's a good question. Propagation. My Hoya, I gotta say, I think it's my Hoya macrophylla. And I'm actually gonna have to get up and show you. For 1 second, let me see if I can bring it to you. This is one of the examples, but I'm gonna show you another example. I would say would be my biggest propagation success. Give me a second, let me see if I can get it. This right here is probably my biggest. This is the Hoya macrophylla. This spawned off of two leaves. And it was just starting to try to flower a little bit here. I don't even know if you can see it. It's not very significant. I never got this plant yet to do a full flower bloom for me. It like does exactly what you would see here. It's kind of like just budding up a little bit. It'll shoot out a little bit, but it won't become full. It may either open up or it'll just completely drop off. But I have several peduncles where it comes to form itself, but it doesn't do much. I just recently, not too long ago, I say about a week or so ago, just decided to put it up on here. I don't know. I like the way it looks. I hope that it won't take a decline, but it's doing fine. I think it's very beautiful. But yeah, it started out with just two leaves, and I did this almost 2 years ago, so I'm really glad, because you know, Hoyas sometimes can be temperamental as far as their growth period, and I think that was very, you know, very successful. Now, another question is, what has been my best rehab to health plant? Uh, ooh. I actually have a couple of them. Ooh, I gotta think about. Give me a second. Let me think about that. I've had a couple. One is actually my my philodendron Brazil, the one that y'all see hanging on the wall in my sunroom. That is a definitely success story. I brought that plant, Kathy. I brought that plant during lockdown, and I think ordered it online. When the plant came, it was very full and lush and beautiful. But what I did notice, which I did not piece it together at the time, is that the soil was super wet when I got it, and the soil itself was dense. And I should have, if I knew what I know now, I would have taken the plant immediately out of the soil, because it didn't have enough aeration in the soil. The soil was really wet, and it took a very long time for it to finally dry. And I did nothing with the plant. I didn't remove it. I didn't try to put it in like a brighter light source or anything so that it could use up some of the energy. I didn't do any of that. And what happened was the plant just losing leaves one by one, just like turning yellow, and I mean just falling off left and right, and not knowing as much about the plants as I do now. I honestly just did not know what to do about it. And so I think I had got down to, I'm not joking, like literally, I lost every leaf on that plant. Every last leaf. I was down to the wet sticks. And I was honestly about to throw it in the trash, but I don't even know where I got this information from. But I either read something or came across watching something on TV where people was talking about, you might want to like spray your wet sticks because there are, nodes and growth points there. And I said, let me try that. I have nothing to lose at this point. And I just sprayed the nodes, and I left it in a bright light situation. And it took a while too. I say at least a month. But I was diligent with it, even though I honestly didn't expect anything to come across it. And just at the moment when I was about to give up, I don't know, just at the moment when I was about to give up, I had noticed that leaves were starting to form off of the wet sticks. And I was looking, I said, oh my goodness, I cannot believe after all this time, at least a month, all this time. We could be so impatient. You think about all this time. When you hear the phrase all this time, you're thinking like, I'm thinking years. I'm not thinking a month, but I was impatient at the time, but I was like, oh my goodness, all this time. And finally, and then it just started growing after another, and when I had when that happened, it really motivated me and sparked the interest of, what, I am definitely getting more plants. I'm definitely doing this. As long as I don't give up on them, they're definitely not going to give up on me, and just super excited about it. So I would say that was one of the good success stories. Another one is actually behind me. Let me see if I can show you. And if y'all watch me do my unboxing Ecuador, how I've had the plants for a little bit and how they were slowly declining one by one and literally down to 0 leaves, and I had nothing but a stub. Let me show you guys this. Take it. I'm not gonna bring the whole plant up because it's easy for me to lift it out of there. Woo, look at that baby. It is my philodendron gloriosum. If y'all look at this, you guys, look at this root system. It is amazing, isn't it? Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to take it out of this and probably find something else to put it in. But you guys, this had, if you watched, it had no leaves, you guys. 0, none. It just had literally a little stub like this, like you see right here. That's all it had. It wasn't even a leaf forming out, so I didn't know what to expect. It was actually just in the center, and then all of a sudden leaves just came out, Just came out. This is my biggest leaf to date. And I'm having this new growth right here. And I am just so excited. And I may actually, you see this, you guys? I'm going to probably air layer this right here and probably cut it and maybe put it in soil. I'm not sure because, you know, this plant is a crawler. But yeah, my Gloriosum, I love it. It's so beautiful. I'm so glad that it came. And me putting it in leca was the game changer for me. Let's see. Which kind of ties right into the next question you had, Kathy. You said, do I prefer leca or soil? Now, I don't, okay, this is the thing with the leca situation. I haven't done leca enough to actually give my full viewpoint on it. It's not like I would I switch over from, the majority of my plants is in soil. Will I switch over from soil and do leca? I probably won't do that. Because there is more to it with the hydroponics than, I'm sorry, wait a minute. I had, I had pins in there to hold down this Cebu Blue Pothos, and I'll probably just put it back in there just to pin it down. I kind of wanted to make it a fuller pot, and I could probably still do that for the person that I'm gifting it to. But okay, so the majority of my plants is in wait a minute, guys, I'm sorry, I have to figure out what planner I'm going to use that in. I'll have to use it in just this one. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, sorry about that. The majority of my plants are in soil. Now, what I think I am going to do, I do have a couple of them in leca, which has done amazing results for me as far as my propagations. Example being the plant I just showed you. Another plant is my sterling silver, my silver sword. That plant has actually exploded on me, and that was just based off of just literally two leaves, I think, with that propagation, and now it's just a full head plant. Is amazing what it has done. So yeah, I think I still have the solution. I would definitely use it or keep it as an alternative, especially if I'm trying to like rehab a plant. I think for me, I've had a lot of success with the leca. I think I would do it. Now, as far as maybe changing over my entire collection in the leca, I probably would not do that. Even though I think probably having it in leca would reduce a lot of maybe some pest situations. I'm not sure. Yeah. So I'm on the fence a little bit about that. For right now, I'm not going to use it as my main thing, but if I'm doing a rehab, a lot of my plants that's come back, it's been due to me putting it in leca. So I think that'll be my rehab strategy moving forward. But you know, you got to do your research, I think, when it comes to the leca, because all plants, what I'm learning is, I don't think you can grow all plants in leca personally. I think, or if you do, it's going to take a hit or some form of decline, and I don't know, it might not come back from that. I'm not sure. Okay, what y'all think? I think I should take this and pin it down in here. And you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. And also, I have a full mother plant of this in my bedroom as well. Y'all probably seen that, and it's growing very nicely, the Cebu Blue. But also, you guys, I think when I was telling you about the Cebu Blue mature form that I saw at Ace, I couldn't believe it. That plant was amazing looking. If I didn't have this plant already, I would have probably went and got it. The fenestrations was amazing. The leaf size on it was gorgeous. And another thing I noticed too is you really see that the silvery blueness of the leaf comes out the more mature it gets. So I was super excited to actually have the privilege of even seeing that up close, because you know, you already know what I've been saying about the plant stores and things in my area is not the best, so. But yeah, so to answer your question, like I said, leca, there's nothing wrong with leca. I still would have to do, I think, more research to say, okay. I really, I wouldn't mind trying, but I really have to do my research before I do. I really wouldn't mind testing the theory out and trying growing maybe like a Hoya in leca just to see how that would do. I think that would be really exciting and cool to check that out. What you think? Looks pretty good. I really like the idea of making these pots. I don't know, very decorative, very fun way. And I already had all of these materials. I already had them in my house, so it's not like I didn't spend any money to do it. And I have endless amount of beginning pots just running through my home. I'm probably going to pot up just one more because this video is turning out to be really, really long. But like I said, let me see, anything else, Kathy? I hope that answered your question. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. And you guys, like I said, next time I decide to say, hey, I want to do a quick Q&A, I think I'm going to probably just do like a 30-second short, and just to put it out there so you guys can be aware of it, because I was not really aware of, I guess maybe people were not paying that much attention to the community posts, and that could be the reason why I didn't get a whole lot of questions. I'm not sure. But like I said, this video, you guys, is your opportunity to ask any questions that you have, and I will, if I get enough of them, honestly, I will go ahead and do a future Q&A. It may not be a repotting session at this point because I'm pretty much potting up or changing pots with all my plants. Somebody's really going to be happy to get this Peru right here. It's beautiful, isn't it? But I've seen that I have the bigger one as part of the contest that I not too long ago did, the Viewer Choice Awards, and I figured there's no need to have both of them. So sometimes you be in a generous mood, and I think I'm just in a generous mood. Plus the people I'm giving these plants to are just beautiful group of people. So what better way to show someone you care than to gift them with a plant? And the cool part about it too is some of these people are not really even plant lovers, but because I am gifting them with a plant, it's sparking their curiosity and their learning process, and I love that. So that's kind of cool. It's almost like being a teacher and you see your children apply your lessons, and you see that it's actually working, and you see the interest. It's kind of really, just make you happy, make you proud. So let me see. I'm going to do a little pin here because I want to pin it down. Now this plant I think is really going to take off this growing season because it took some time for it to actually start growing, and it needs some water a little bit. You can tell this leaf right here just ripped, but I'm going to leave it alone. But you can tell because the leaves feel thin and they're starting to curl. So, which at the end too, you guys, I probably will give all these plant babies a nice little drink so that they could be okay. But yeah, I think somebody's really going to enjoy this plant. It really is going to, I'm thinking about, actually, I'm not sure, but I might, maybe I should. Maybe I just leave it alone. I don't know. Just, yeah. I think I'm going to leave it alone because I don't want to snap it. So, yeah. What y'all think? Think that's pretty good? I think so. So yeah, I think, so I'm going to clean up, and I probably will repot the rest of these offline because we're almost hitting like the hour mark right now, and it's been a long video, and I'm also in a dining room, you guys, and I got to give a shout out to my husband because he's actually over here being nice and quiet for me, and I love him so much for that because he's a gamer person, so him not being able to make noise, he kind of like sacrificed a little bit of his time for me just so that I can entertain you guys. So I really do thank him for that. So yeah, this pretty much is going to wrap up this video. I had a blast talking to you guys. Don't forget to ask me questions below, and if y'all are interested, let me know if you're interested in doing a Q&A session a little later. We can still, chop it up and talk about certain things, and I can answer any questions or curiosities that you guys may have. And so yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. Keep in mind, if you love foliage as much as I do and you love listening to planty things, definitely subscribe to this channel. Push those thumbs up. They really help support my channel and get it out there to other new subscribers so that we can grow this plant community together. You enjoy your day wherever you are in the world, and until next time, guys, much love. Bye.